Hello and welcome to I24 News Sports Daily Magazine with all the latest scores and stories from around the world. We have plenty of action coming your way with tennis, cycling news, and of course the weekend's action in European football. But we begin with the breaking news out of Singapore with the night race just finishing in Formula One. Lewis Hamilton just won the race. This is the 7th win of the season for Hamilton and the 11th out of 14 races for Team Mercedes. With this win, Hamilton overtakes his teammate Nico Rosberg, who had to retire in Singapore in the overall standings. With 5 races to go, the Brit is now 3 points above the German. What a season finale awaits for us. Now to football, and Arsenal gave a new meaning to the word blitz. They played in Villa Park against Aston Villa and took care of business in some of the most explosive 3 minutes we have ever seen. 192 seconds. That is what it took the Gunners to score all 3 goals. It started with Mesut Ozil just over the half-hour mark. Danny Welbeck added 1 more just a minute later. 2 minutes go by and an own goal made it 3-0. The perfect way for Arsenal to bounce back from their midweek loss in the Champions League.
It's a response we needed after Tuesday, yes. Aston Villa started quite well, and we had 1 or 2 dangerous situations, and after that we were in control, and we scored 3 goals in 3 minutes. And then in the second half it was a possession game and controlled game because they didn't come out too much.
So Arsenal still making it clear that they're planning to be a part of the championship race. A different story for Liverpool, who lose for the 3rd time this season, this time to West Ham in Upton Park. And the big news today, Manchester United losing 5-3 to Leicester City. They were leading 3-1 and then just gave up 4 goals. What a terrible time for Manchester United. And the big match coming up tonight, the 2 big favorites for the title. The clash of the billionaires, Manchester City hosting Chelsea. Both teams expecting a big challenge, but visiting manager Jose Mourinho, who has seen a thing or two in his career, thinks you don't win championships by beating the other big teams, but by not losing to the smaller ones.
We don't play against them. We play against other 19 teams, and for the title is not just City, other teams obviously in this race. So this is not a situation of Chelsea or City, City or Chelsea.
It is obviously a very difficult game, but especially because at the moment they are top of the table. But we are playing at home and we are playing in front of our supporters. We're going to give everything and go out to win.
And of course, we will have all the reactions from this game and the terrible loss by Manchester United tomorrow in our Talking Football show. We will also take an in-depth look at the events in La Liga, and there's plenty to talk about. Take another look at the incredible result of Real Madrid. The Merengues beat La Coruña away 8-2. Ronaldo scored a hat-trick, Gareth Bale and Chicharito added 2 of their own, and James was on target as well. In the midweek thrashing in the Champions League, they scored 13 goals in just 2 matches. Atletico Madrid beat Real last week at the Bernabeu. Apparently, it's easier for the Colchoneros against the big teams than it is against the smaller teams. They were unable to win at home for the 2nd time this season. This time, Celta Vigo came out of the Vicente Calderón with a point. And later tonight, Barcelona will face Levante. Now to Germany, and you would expect Bayern Munich or Borussia Dortmund at the top, but we have another name there, newly promoted Paderborn, our first. And if that is not enough, then take a look at this. Final minute in their home match against Hanover with Paderborn leading 1-0. The visitors press forward, even the goalkeeper is up there, and then this happens. Moritz Stoppenkamp fires in from a distance of 83 meters and sets a new Bundesliga record. The previous record set 3.5 years ago was 10 meters shorter. Tiny Paderborn win 2-0, and after 4 matches, they have 8 points, 2 wins and 2 draws. We will probably not find them up there for long, but no one will take away this record from them. Paderborn is up there with Bayern Munich, who couldn't win again, this time in Hamburg, the game ending in a goalless draw. It could have been a good opportunity for Borussia Dortmund to close the gap or even go past the Bavarian rivals, but Jurgen Klopp's team lose for the 2nd time this season, this time in Mainz, and tonight Bayer Leverkusen can climb to the top if they win in Wolfsburg. We will take an in-depth look at in the Bundesliga in our second Talking Football show this coming Tuesday. This will also be the time to analyze everything happening in France. Maybe it's time to look at Marseille and Bordeaux as serious contenders with big names as managers, Marcelo Bielsa and Willy Sagnol. Both teams won 4 of 6 so far, including victories last night. Monaco will face Guingamp tonight in a bid to recuperate from their disappointing results so far. And in the biggest match of the night, champions Paris Saint-Germain will host Lyon at the Parc des Princes, and manager Laurent Blanc knows that his team is far from being at their best.
I think that tactically, technically, and physically, we are not on top. We have seen that a lot against Ajax, which is certainly a good team. But we knew them very well, and we had analyzed them very well. We knew exactly what they were doing well, what they liked to do, and in my opinion, we have not been able to stop them as often as we would have liked.
One of the problems Laurent Blanc had to deal with this season is injuries. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Thiago Silva and Thiago Motta spent some time off the pitch. Motta had to do it because of the headbutt in the tunnel incident, which broke his nose. Now came the punishment. Bastia's player Brandao, who assaulted Motta in the tunnel of the Parc des Princes after the match between the teams last month, was suspended for 6 months by the disciplinary committee of the French Football Federation. Until his return in late February, Brandao will miss 21 league matches. He already said he will appeal the decision, but judging by the reactions of the people in the committee, his appeal stands no real chance.
The disciplinary committee wanted to punish him for the violent hit. It was a terrible hit which broke his opponent's nose. The disciplinary committee considers the hit to be inexcusable and cannot be justified. It can at best be explained that the player was being provoked during the game, but it couldn't remain unpunished.
The qualifiers for Euro 2016 started just recently. This will be the last tournament held in just 1 or 2 host countries. As of 2020, the group stages will be held in several different countries, but one lucky city will host the semifinals and the final. Who will it be for 2020?
London.
London it is.
Wembley Stadium will host the 2 semi-finals and, of course, the big final. The quarterfinals will be held in 4 different locations: Munich, Baku, St. Petersburg, and Rome. And the group stage will be played in these 4 cities and in 8 others, including Amsterdam, Copenhagen, and Glasgow. 6 other venues, among them Jerusalem, had their bid rejected. So we know where the games of the Euro 2020 will be held. We also know who will host the African Cup of Nations 1 year before that. Cameroon will host the prestigious tournament for the first time since 1972, their bid beating 4 other bids presented to the African Football Federation. The organizers also announced the host for the following 2 tournaments. In 2021, the championship will be held in the Ivory Coast, and 2 years later in Guinea. The 2023 host was not supposed to be chosen yet, but the heads of the African football chose to vote for Guinea as a show of support for the Ebola-hit country. The terrible epidemic was a central topic during the 2-day meeting held in Ethiopia.
And it has nothing to do with the travel ban. The fact that the 3 nations included have not been allowed yet to organize matches has to do with the importance of avoiding mass gatherings because of the important number of cases that were witnessed as per the Ebola virus. And this is based on figures received on the 17th of September at his latest update. But we do not recommend travel bans. A travel ban is different from allowing a football match to be played in a certain environment that can ask 50 or 60 or 70,000 people to gather.
Tennis now, and with the Davis Cup final approaching, Switzerland is considered as favorite with Roger Federer and Stanislas Wawrinka. But somehow it feels everything depends on the mood of Gael Monfils. He may be highly unstable. He won only 5 titles in his career, but on a good day, this is a player who can beat anybody. Yes, even Wawrinka, even Federer. Lise Barnbaum and Michael Friedman take a closer look at the men who may be the surprising factor of the final.
Gael Monfils is one of the most famous French tennis players. He's 28 years old and continues to leave his mark on tennis courts all over the world. The Caribbean player began his career very young in Paris. The French champion and junior world champion between 2002 and 2004 was ranked over 200 but by 2005 he broke through to move amongst the top 50 players in the world. Known for his extraordinary physical strength, he is able to shine on hard courts but is even better on clay. He's been given the nickname Slide Man and the Acrobat, and is known for dragging his long legs with elegance until his opponent eventually makes a mistake. Besides for his quarterfinal at the US Open, Monfils has never truly excelled in a Grand Slam tournament. However, he surprised everyone in Roland Garros when he met Roger Federer in the semifinals in 2008. Nobody expected the Parisian 21-year-old, who was only ranked 59th at the time, to give the French hope. However, he continued to be an underdog throughout France, and the Secretary of State responsible for sports had a lot of admiration for Monfils.
The historic semi-final match is on Sunday, and I hope he will win so we can witness a historic win. Our Frenchman is in the semi-final of Roland Garros. All we can wish is his victory. He brings a new era and lots of happiness to the French.
2 years prior, he was only ranked 23rd and was briefly the #1 player in France. But then, in 2007, he sustained a number of injuries. Today, Monfils has several victories on the ATP circuit, winning in Montpellier in 2010 and Stockholm in 2011. Yet, he has been without a coach for 17 months and refuses to listen to the critics who criticize him for spoiling his career. Known for his humor and his taste for unusual and spectacular shots, Monfils is definitely an original in the world of tennis. At the Davis Cup in 2010, he even loved to congratulate himself.
For a long time, I prepared it in my head. I was really stressed at the idea of playing, and I would say to myself, come on, I'm now able to manage my emotions, and I'm really happy.
We're just a few weeks away from the final of the 2014 Davis Cup, and this new generation of players are preparing to face a challenging opponent, the great Roger Federer and his Swiss team. And this year, the specialist of hot shots struck again. In the semifinals of the Davis Cup between France and Serbia, he made an incredible shot against Lucas Rosol, and everyone watching around the court cheered for him after a stroke of genius. The next step for the French tennis star will be at the final of the Davis Cup against Switzerland. One thing has not changed with Gaël Monfils is his thirst for winning.
If everything falls to place, Monfils can reach the highest point in his career soon, but for someone else, it was time to say goodbye. Lina, ranked 6th in the women's ranking, has decided to quit the game due to injuries. She won 9 titles in her career, including 2 Grand Slams, Roland Garros in 2011, and the Australian Open just a few months ago. Following that win in Melbourne, she reached the 2nd place in the WTA ranking, the highest in her career. But reoccurring knee problems that have bothered her through her entire career now require surgery, and she decided this is the right time to stop playing.
I am very satisfied with my tennis career, and I am proud of myself. I think this is the best time for me to retire because I don't have any regrets. When I was making the decision, I asked myself, if I retire, will I regret it? My heart told me I wouldn't, because I've done my best.
Now to cycling and to an iconic record that was broken. Germany's Jens Voigt set a new hour record of 51.115 kilometers in Switzerland. Voigt, who is now 43 and retiring from the sport of cycling, completed more than 200 laps of the velodrome to improve the previous mark of 49.700 kilometers set by Czech rider Ondřej Sosenka 9 years ago. 2,000 spectators came to see Voigt on his record-breaking attempt. They sure helped him reach the historic milestone.
The first 10 minutes were actually, yes, enjoyable. I almost didn't feel the pedals. I had to tell myself, okay, easy, easy. It's 50 minutes to go. It's 50 minutes to go. Don't, go too fast, too early. But yeah, definitely then the second half was just getting harder and harder. And I was happy that once I saw the last minute sign, and then Daniel was showing 2 more laps and last lap, and I was pretty happy then that I could actually stop pedaling and get off that bike.
And now, just before we say goodbye, we want to congratulate one of the bravest world champions there is. This is what Gary Hunt and his colleagues do for a living: jump off platforms 30 meters high. The penultimate stage of the 2014 season was held this weekend in Spain. Hunt, from England, only came in 2nd here, but it was enough to give him an unbeatable lead in the overall standings. Last year's champion, Russian Artem Silchenko, won the stage, but he will only finish 2nd overall.
It's an amazing feeling. I was annoyed having missed my second dive here today, but I stood on the end of that platform and I just tried to imagine that it was going to be the last time I ever did that dive, and I really wanted to do it well. And unlucky that Steve missed his last dive, but I can't believe that I've managed to secure the championship already.
And just recapping the top stories we talk about, Lewis Hamilton just won the Singapore Grand Prix, the night race, and he is now first in the overall standings, 3 points above his teammate Nico Rosberg. And Manchester United lost 5-3 in Leicester after leading 3-1. What will happen with Louis van Gaal and his team? That's it for us today. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget you can watch us anytime on our website at i24news.tv. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.